A morning prayer and a dramatic cultural presentation kicks off the 10th Assembly of the World Council of Churches. I am Angelique Walker-Smith, and this is Madang Live. In our show today, we look at the morning prayer that is the ceremonial opening to the World Council of Churches Assembly. We get your views on the General Secretary's report to the Assembly. We take you on board a peace train. And we ask the mayor of Busan, why is it so important that this assembly is held here? But first, the news. Some called it a colorful celebration. Others thought there was a tangible sense of unity. They were all describing the morning prayers that officially opened the 10th Assembly of the World Council of Churches. Kimberly Ivany was there, and this is what she thought.
A sacred procession down a snaking green carpet, framed by thousands of people from all over the world. The World Council of Churches Assembly has begun.
It's exciting for me to see people around the world, and then they come from the different churches. Yeah,
I think it's a great achievement of the ecumenical movement, and also thanks to the World Council of Churches that so many different Christian denominations can pray together.
The Assembly's first event starts off on a high note here in the Bexco Centre.
The energy is high here at the first day of the 10th Assembly as thousands begin to gather here in the auditorium for opening prayers and remarks. But many participants have already been here for a couple of days, participating in pre-assembly events.
23-year-old Seo Kun-eun from Korea is one of those people. She took part in the men and women's pre-assembly. She says she hopes the week will be just as powerful and lead to change.
Talking is really good, and I think that talking about this important issue is also very important, but more than just talking, let's decide something and act something together.
And the mayor of Busan is here today. He is greeted by the General Secretary at the opening plenary and addresses participants and delegates. The General Secretary also addresses the Assembly today, giving his opening remarks and initial report.
Well, I think, the agenda is set, and I think it really comes down to really pulling together all resources and really ensuring that persons that are here fully participate in order for us to really generate major results based on what he's indicating.
For the next 11 days, it's down to business. The Assembly will feature discussion, decision-making, and activities that will unite participants both here in Busan and those watching around the world. It will provide a rich opportunity to learn from each other while sharing God's light. I'm Kimberly Ivany for Madang Live.
The morning prayer was followed by the opening plenary. Over 7,000 people from around the world were present. The mayor of Busan was also there. We'll hear more from him later. The General Secretary of the World Council of Churches, Olav, Tveit, called for humility and a willingness to listen together as he reported to the Assembly. He described the way forward for the WCC as a pilgrimage. Let's listen now to some of what he had to say.
This assembly brings us to Asia, a continent of growth, also in the churches, with the largest share of the world's people, with great wealth and power in the global context. But it is also a continent marked with many worries and many families who do not share in the growth and the hope of others. This is why I find that the pilgrimage of justice and peace should be the vision for what we do together in the period until the next assembly. And we are here together in Busan to make our own mosaic, bring together our different paths through prayer, sharing, conversations, discernments and decisions. As we embark on a pilgrimage of justice and peace, we need to work with all people of goodwill who share our vision and commitment to reflect also the common value of life for all. So therefore we invite all our partners, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus and other peoples of faith to join us in this journey.
Some strong remarks to call us to action. We thought it would be interesting to hear what you had to say about it. Here is what you said.
He gives us hope on how to do things together and in solidarity, especially for those who are really, really disadvantaged as well as those who really on the margins.
He was able to of course, give a practical side in terms of the vision and, of course, give a very theological aspect as well. And I think it's very balanced.
Nothing in there was a surprise. And I think that he has captured a kind of general sense of how these things are, where the assembly is going, what the assembly is going to have to struggle with. I think he's captured that well.
What do you do when you want to raise the awareness of a 60-year division between North and South Korea? The National Council of Churches in Korea and the Korean Host Committee for the WCC Assembly came up with a novel idea. They organized a peace train. The train started its journey in Berlin, Germany, and traveled through Russia and China all the way to Busan in the south of Korea, where it arrived on the 30th of October. 130 people from around the world traveled on the train, and it even made a stop at the North Korean border.
In the future, we would like to carry out the more interesting, exciting program like the peace train.
Time now for your stories. But first, we want to take a look back at the opening day. Here's a story from Anam Gill.
We were greeted with a plethora of enthusiasm at the World Council of Churches 10th Assembly. It was really a treat in the morning. The grandeur of the morning opening worship inspired and touched many people gathered under the worship hall. The musical performance of the amazing choir added extra zest among the worshippers.
Just come out from the service. Well, the choir from Korea and all the people who were there were really committed.
It was fascinating to see a beautiful dance performance by the Pacific delegation inside Madang Hall.
We are representing the Pacific, the whole Pacific. We're here to entertain for the WCC, World Conference Churches.
The hall has exhibits from numerous countries. Inside the doors of Bexco Hall, the vitality and enthusiasm of participants has set the space alive and breathing with a lot in store for the coming days. I'm Anam Gill reporting for Madang Live.
Yesterday, we shared a story about the pre-assemblies. Now we want to tell you more. Who are the people and what makes it happen? Kimberly Ivany has more to share about this.
A delicious gathering on a Monday morning. The General Secretary for the World Council of Churches is on stage to cut a cake for a special anniversary.
This year is special. It's 60 years since the program on Women in Church and Society started as cooperation of men and women.
The Men and Women's Pre-Assembly is one of 4 assemblies happening within the Bexco Convention Centre here in Busan, as a patchwork of people from all over the world begin to settle on common ground. These meetings are opportunities to start ecumenical conversations and prepare participants 2 days before the assembly. Aside from the anniversary mark of the Men and Women's Pre-Assembly, this year is the first time that men gather separately.
When I met Fulata Moyo last year, we challenged each other on this point, why there is a pre-assembly for women but not a pre-assembly for men, as if men were not involved or interested in gender equality. So I said to Fulata, let's do something, and she said, well, I'm not a man, so you're the one who has to do it.
Downstairs in the Bexco Centre, other voices are speaking out. Youth under the age of 30 have their own pre-assembly to state why it's important to be active parts of church movements.
I think one major challenge that we face is the common expression that the youth are our future, but the reality is the youth are our present. The Bible says that old men are for counsel, young men are for war. We are the leaders, we are the warriors.
People young and old, no matter if they are male or female, have a chance to be heard at the assembly, and the Council of Churches recognizes the need for union between these groups. That union also expands to those who are disabled. The Ecumenical Disabilities Advocates Network, otherwise known as EDON, have a meeting to allow those who are burdened in physical ways to take a stand. The pre-assemblies also provide space for the sharing of cultures. They give participants a glimpse into worlds they may not know in order to bridge the gap between countries, but also beliefs and traditions. Here you can see participants in the Indigenous pre-assembly sharing music and cultural dress. We learn that every costume has a meaning, every color and material picked carefully.
This, the pattern which goes, and here also we find here, we call it the Dingdi pattern. Dingdi pattern means a woman who is mature enough to have a boyfriend or to get married, and when a woman has a lover, and she can wear this pattern. So this is very significant in our society.
Walking around the halls of the convention center, you can feel the excitement of cultures coming together. You can feel the camaraderie of old friends reuniting. You are greeted with smiles from strangers who have traveled across the world to be here, and you can sense the foreshadowing of something powerful. The 10th Assembly of the World Council of Churches will explore the many ways to talk about and share God's message with the world. That conversation has already begun, a perfect introduction to a week of Christian unity. For Madang Live, I'm Kimberly Ivany.
You saw earlier that the mayor of Busan was at the opening plenary. We had the opportunity to interview him. Here now is Mark Beach with the interview.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to ask you, what should the people who are coming to the WCC Assembly expect to see and do in Busan?
WCC 총회에 또
On behalf of all Busan citizens, I'd like to extend my sincere welcome for all people coming to Busan. Busan is the second largest city in Korea, blessed with beautiful natural environment. Busan has beautiful beaches, mountains and rivers.
정말 좋은 또 이런 자연 또 환경을 가지고 있는 도시입니다. 우리 부산은 아름다운 또 바다가 있고 또 산이 있고 강이.
And I really hope that the WCC 2013 becomes one of the most successful events in your history. And I hope that all visitors staying in Busan live with good and fond memories about Busan.
부산에 계시는 동안 정말 편안하고 또 보람된 그런 또 시간이 되시길 바랍니다.
Why is it so important for Busan to host the WCC Assembly?
우리 부산은 또 좋은 이런 또 자연 또 환경을 살려서 아마 세계적인 그런 또 관광 컨벤션 중심 도시로
Busan is rising as the city of tourism and convention in the world. Busan also hosted 2005 APEC Summit and Lions Convention and other major international conventions. So I'm certain that WCC 2013 will help Busan a lot in contributing Busan in emerging as the hub city, hub convention city in the world. And I also hope that Busan will become the center city and one of the most representative city for all Christians, not only in Korea but around the world.
전 세계 기독교인들에게 널리 알릴 수 있는 좋은 또 기회라고 생각합니다.
If there is one thing that people should see in Busan, what would that be?
우리 부산은 또 좋은 이런 다시 한번 보자. 우리 부산은 또 오랜 또 역사와
Busan is a city of long history and beautiful natural environments and cultural legacies. And Busan also has beautiful beaches, and we have the world-class port facilities of Northeast Asia.
도시이기도 합니다. 또 항만 시설도 한번 보시는 것도 대단히 좋을 거라고 또 생각을 합니다. 또 우리 부산은 오랜
And Busan is home to one of the oldest Buddhist temple, which is called the Pamasa. And there are many museums and also many opportunities to experience Korean culture. And Busan also boasts a beautiful sea resort. And especially when you visit, if you visit Busan port, there are cruise ships where you can savor the beauty of Busan port. So you must visit them and enjoy all these facilities and entertainment facilities.
도 한번 타보신다면은 아름다운 우리 부산을 볼 수 있는 좋은 또 경험이 될 수 있을 것입니다.
They are just leaving morning prayer. You can feel the excitement here at the 10th Assembly of the World Council of Churches. Well, that's it for today. We look forward to telling you tomorrow what will happen over the weekend.